Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com, and once again, great to be here. All right, so today is October 11th, 2024, and this is the webinar where you give me the stock and I will give you the details, so to speak. So go ahead and type in any stocks or ETFs you'd like me to look up in the comments area, and do that for me in caps. And also to realize, of course, I guess we should go through our risk disclosure here. Of course, realize that we can't make any guarantees as to the analysis I give you, but certainly I do it based on a variety of software tools and the experience I've had trading the markets in over 30 years. In any case, if, for example, your broker suggests a stock and you want me to look at it from a technical standpoint, this is where you come. Also, we have proprietary trading tools that help us in that opinion. Also, too, past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. So if you've come here before and our analysis has been spot on, doesn't mean I can guarantee it will be going forward. Also check with your financial advisor to be sure anything we talk about or recommendations are suitable for you. That's also important as well. And as a reminder, just trade with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital, which leads me to talking a little bit about an opportunity for you if you are a day trader. There is a firm out there called Apex Trader Funding. And not only do they give you a chance to actually trade capital, where you actually can share in the profits, but they give you free data while you're learning how to do it. And so it's a great opportunity. And I do have a link for you that I will put in the chat area, as well as a code. So they have different subscription levels. You can go there and read all about it. But basically, it's for the futures market. It's for day trading the futures, which really I think is the best vehicle to day trade. I know a lot of people enjoy the forex, but I think futures markets is better. But in any case, whatever your situation is, this is not a bad place to give it a try. So keep that certainly in mind. Several books available that I've written. My new one, The Art of Trading on the Far Right, coming out this year, published by Wiley. It's going to be, I think, the best book I've written to date, 580 pages. So you definitely will get your money's worth. And then, of course, the software tools we're going to be using today when we look at the markets is called the ART software, Applied Reality Trading Software, that looks at specifically price action and makes its decisions on that. And then we have a variety of indicators that we use for confirmation. We also have scanners and risk control software as well. So you can check those out. I'll put a link for the books. I'll put a link for the software in the recording below, or you can just go to our website. All right, stop what you're doing right now. Take a minute, give us a like. All right, the more likes we get, the better the channel does. So give us a like right now. And that's that little guy with the thumbs up down there below the recording or the actual presentation. All right, let's see what we got cooking out here. We got Frank coming along here. Also, too, when you give me a stock pick, give me whether you're already long or possibly already short, or even if you're thinking about it and so forth, okay? Because that helps me. And if you can let me know approximately when you got in it, that's also a good idea. That will help me tailor my analysis to your specific needs. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, Frank has got GDS. Let me show him up there. Good job, Frank. Okay, so you got it at 1722. Let's take a look at that. Give that a second to load. All right, so this is one we've looked at before, and we kind of were anticipating a bottom, and look, boom, we got it, right? So we're getting a nice move off the bottom on this. The chart on the far right is the weekly chart. You can really see that bottom here and the big move off it. Our target, Frank, on this one is still at the Fibonacci retracement level, which is a level that we use for targets. And that level is between 38.2% all the way up to 61.8%. And I've highlighted that on the far right-hand side, put a little check mark in that box. And so that's going to be a price of around 36.5, all the way up to 56, and we're at 20.99. So still got a little room to go. Now, In order to get to that target, though, you may have to suffer through a pullback on this. That doesn't mean it's going to make a new bottom, but it could certainly pull back from 20 into a range of around, what, 16 to 14 right in here. So let's just quickly draw in some fibs of where that could possibly be when it comes, and right around $17 to $12.81. So I don't know if you want to hold it there, because once it reaches there, it should turn around and go back up, but you would have to hold it. So you have a couple alternatives. You have a spot right here to place your stop at. You could place your stop at the current pyramid there, okay? That's all a possibility. You would have been stopped out on the very short time frame on the far right here already. So I'm going to let you play that as you want, but here's my summary. More highs to come, longer term. Short term, a pullback into that range, and then probably some type of basing and a pull off it. Always possible to get a V-shaped bottom in there as well. So keep that in mind, all right? But anyway, at 1722, you got in and you're at profit right now. So you're going to have to make that decision, okay, whether you're going to hold it for the remainder of some time here, or you're going to go ahead and take profits. All right, Sue, let's see what else we got here. Eleanor, how are you? Good to have you here as well. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of yours here, Eleanor. Let's take a look at DOOG. Give that a second to load. Loading, loading, loading. Don't see that one loading. Oh, I check the symbol on that, okay? I'm not getting it up here, okay? APO, let's jump to your next one. All right, that one loads good. All right, so let's see what we're going on here. All right, you're long already, good. And I see no reason not to stay long, okay? You do have a pyramid over here that you could use as a safety valve, so to speak, right here at around 100, but you'd have to give up quite a bit. So the pyramids are designed to keep you in the trend. So they're not so close on the weekly time frames, but they are close on the 60-minute. All right, so there's a pyramid here at 135, one forming here, you know, a little higher than that. So that's kind of where you're at now. But some of our tools that we use are indicating a lot of strength still left in this. And you can certainly see that at the bottom here. So this is called our OWL, stands for Optimum Wave Locator. This is our precision trend filter, and everything is green at this time. So green means more highs. So I think you're probably pretty good here. I think also too, like the one we looked at with Frank, I think we're going to get a pullback at some point on this big move up we've had recently since September. And that pullback, if it happened today, would be probably right around here between 126 and 118, and then more highs after that. So again, I think you're going to have to manage this as you see fit, but more highs are coming, okay? You might have to just endure a little bit of a pullback before you eventually get those. But I even think you're going to get more highs probably within the next week before any type of pullback could occur. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, DE is your next one. All right, so DE, a little volatility here. Okay, if you open up, I'm going to open up that weekly chart for a moment. And this obviously has been if you've been in it for a while, very profitable trade, but look what's happened. A lot of volatility here. So it kind of makes it a little tough, doesn't it? All right, so any long positions here would have a stop based on our system right here. So right under that volatility is where it has you locked in. So that would be a price right under this pyramid here, which is around 82.20. I'm sorry, not 82.20. It is, let me get the fresh price, a low of 328, right around 328.62. So right around there is the long-term stop. So that can help you because it will keep you out of the fray during this volatility unless it comes down and starts to head down. All right, look at the daily chart. These lines, by the way, folks, these are all fair value gaps that occur in the market. So those have to do with a form of technical analysis that we look for certain supports. And during volatile times, you see an unusually high amount of them. That's why it's kind of clouding the screen there. All right, so that's kind of a messy chart to figure it out. I'd stay with the weekly chart if you can. We pulled down a little bit. We probably could pull back a little bit more, but that would all stay within the volatility range. So your range on the volatility really is between 340-ish up to what, around, I would say 438. So that bouncing around in there. If it heads down, I guess I would get out if it goes below that pyramid, because then it will probably come down maybe to around 300 or just under. So you do have to be careful on that one. All right, DE, let's take a look at the next one here. Give that a second. Okay, still loading. Let me just go back to APO. It's almost an exact duplicate of APO. Look at that. APO is here. Okay, I guess I looked up DE before, so sorry about that. We had APO and then DE, okay? So DE recovered, all right? That was the one with the volatility. Let me just make sure we did. Yes, okay. Okay, all right, so your next one I see you got here is DD, DT, OG. Okay, I think we tried DOOG last time. All right, so not a lot of history on that. So the weekly chart's not going to help us a whole lot. Had a move up and then a move down and kind of going sideways here. Again, the volatility creating quite a bit of these fair value gaps over here. All right, so on this one here, the best I can do is tell you probably more highs are coming. The indicators are indicating that. And probably a good place to put your stop on this one is right under this ledge here, and see how high it will take you. See if it breaks out of this volatility, because if it does that, that would be very, very helpful. So if we take a look at here, you know, that breakout there could yield a fib extension right around 135 to 158. Not my favorite stock to be in. Okay, there's not a lot of opportunity left in it. I'm not going to recommend it for everybody, but if you're still in it, you should stay in it. Okay, but if it gets to those levels, then you want to tighten up that stop. Okay, good job, Eleanor. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, let's see. Jean, Eleanor had these picks. So, Eleanor, are you also typing in with Jean stocks? I'm not sure, Jean, why you're telling me she had these picks, unless I missed them someplace. I don't think I did, but in any case, all right, let me go through these. CAVA. All right, so CAVA, not a lot of history on this. Moving up. And let's see what we've got cooking here. I put my stop right at this pyramid here. So the low here is 118.62. So, you know, a tick or so under that. Probably more short-term highs coming, but eventually you're going to get a significant pullback. You've got some more room going here on the weekly chart. Very strong momentum in the owl. So yeah, I see more highs on this. It's just not a lot of history in order for us to figure out really exactly where it's going, but I'm pretty sure at this particular point we're near a target right now. Okay, all right, let's take a look at CMG. All right, CMG. All right, we looked at this one before. All right, and this is kind of an interesting one here. So it came down to our target pullback area on the daily chart and then moved off it. So that's kind of where we are now. My only problem with this one is that I don't see a fairly clear ABC. Let me see if I see it on the 60-minute chart. Not so much, because it had a gap down there. So by all means, in terms of retracement analysis, this did the trick. My only concern is that, I guess there's the ABC there, okay? I just didn't see that because it was hidden by the fair value gap channel. Okay, so all right, so that's okay. All right, so I'm thinking probably at this particular point, stop. I would put my stop pretty low on this one. Let's put it right around in here on that for right now. But I think probably you've got a very good chance of breaking the high and getting the 70 to 83. Okay, and then that's going to be a pretty significant high there. All right, so that is CMG. Let's take a look at crowd. CRWD. Okay, thank you, Gene. Okay, I guess I missed that. All right, so here's crowd. Okay, so on crowd here, we go back to data about 2020. So we got 4 years of data. Looks like we've had a pretty good pullback. We've got a green PTF on the 60. So we're still kind of moving up. I'm a little concerned if this stays red here on the daily that the correction's not over. So I would put my stop on this pyramid because if it goes down, it could go below the $221 mark. Let me just make sure that's what that is, 211. So I would put my stop at 274.80. Okay, and if it goes below that, I'd get out. All right, because then it could go down quite a bit further. All right, and that's CRWD. All right, let me see where I was here and head on back up. All right, Stuart, let's see what we got here. SNU. Oh, good old snow. I remember snow. We looked at snow quite a bit earlier in the year. All right, so snow, not a lot of history. That goes back to 221, so about 3 years. A lot of volatility for many, many years, and then it moved down. Now the question is, has it bottomed and is it moving up? Okay, so you have a green PTF, but you've had it for a long time. So you've got a bearish pyramid still active here. You've got a move up trade on the daily and on the 60-minute chart. So a little early on the weekly chart to know if the trend has bottomed yet. We've got to take that pyramid. We've got to get prices above the flat part of that pyramid before the short positions are closed out there, and you may get a jump on that. If you wanted to take an early one, you certainly could do it. 60 minutes supports it. The weekly, we have not yet had a big pullback yet. Let me just see if that bottom is lower than that one. So that's 108.71, and that's 107.13. So it did hold. All right, so you did get a move off. You'll probably get a move back. I would say if you're long on this, you want to stay long. All right, no reason to get out. If you're looking to get in, you probably can get in on the next pullback, probably around 118 to 120. So this thing, we'll see how high it goes up before it pulls back. But if you got in now, you'd be getting at the top of this first move up. And I think maybe you could do better, okay? So let's put that one on a watch list, Stuart, for everybody else. But for you, just stay with it, okay? And that's SNOW. All right, let's keep going here. Constance, how are you? Good to have you here. All right, JCI, let's take a look at that one. All right, so you have long-term gains over several years. All right, let's take a look and see here. Adobe is a little bit different. Okay, we'll take a look at these. All right, so all right, I'm gonna open up the weekly chart here. Let's just take a look. A little bit of volatility, huh? Since then. Okay, so you got a red PTF, which is indicating that this could turn around and take this bottom out. And that basically, this indicator has a 75% probability, which is why I kind of pay attention to it so much. And what it tells you is that when a bottom or top is put in, the velocity or the momentum that created that, if it's severe enough, either to the upside or the downside, it colors that PTF indicator to let us know that when it sees that kind of velocity, that even though the market may move in the opposite direction, as long as that stays the color it is now, which happens to be red, then there's a high propensity, 75% of the time, that it will return and make a new low. So it doesn't, it could stay red the entire move up that a market makes. But then what it's indicating is that this is not necessarily a new big move, but maybe some sort of correction in the downtrend. So that's kind of how you would use that. So when it's red like that, it kind of, I don't know where you got in, but as long as that stays red, you kind of want to be a little bit careful unless you don't care and you don't care about a pullback and you're in it for, a decade or so, then something like that's probably not going to matter. But the idea is if you kind of are a little concerned about the next year, then I would take a look at this and say this should return and head back down. So probably from a long-term stance, I'd put my stop at the bottom of this price bar, just under the pyramid fractal low there at 66.87. And if it goes below that, I'd get out. If you want a closer stop, all right, you've got one forming here on the gray chart in the center, right here. And also you have one that's already formed right there around 75 on the short-term chart. So that's kind of how I would play that. But you see, you have green PTFs on the short-term time frames. So I think you're still going to go up a little higher before you have to worry about that red PTF. Okay, so that's JCI, LPX. And the overall stock market, I did a stock market review earlier this month. We're still in an uptrend. I check it every week, of course. So the markets itself, even though we are in what we call an Elliott Wave 5 long-term top zone, expecting a sell-off at some point, it's not there yet. Okay, we're still moving up on most markets. All right, so let's take a look at LPX. Okay, again, looks like more highs are coming, so I wouldn't get out of this. You've got a nice pyramid fractal bottom here for a stop at 91.81. You can also, when you have a clean market without much volatility, you can also just simply draw a few trend lines. And if it breaks the trend lines, then you take action at that point, okay? That trend line is almost going to take you out pretty much a little higher, about 10 points higher, maybe 6 points, 7 points higher than the pyramid I just gave you on the longer term chart. Okay, so a little pullback maybe coming here. That's what this chart is saying on the far left. But after that pullback, more highs should follow. Okay, so LPX is looking still pretty good. Let's look at T for, I think, AT&T. All right, again, nice big move up on these. Let me just bring these indicators a little bit more in line, give us a little more price action there. Okay. All right. So this has been moving up. And again, what I would do is here's a pyramid stop down here at a low of 21.16. But again, if you don't have the software and you kind of want to stay in it for as long as possible, just draw a few trend lines. When trend lines get broken, all right, that's you have to look at the context and see if a top is in or if it's just volatility. So we have a red PTF on the far left-hand side. So we probably are going to come down a little bit more on this, but it may not be enough to break that trend line. So I'll let you manage that as you see fit. So short-term, a little pullback, longer-term, more highs on that. All right, let's take a look at Adobe for you because you are a long-term on this, but a loss. All right, let's see if we have any more downside potential. All right, so we've got Adobe long-term in an Elliott Wave 5 that has not reached its target. So my forecast for this long-term is around 696 to 957, and we're at 498. Now, short-term, obviously, we're moving down. We have a red PTF on the 60, so the move down is not over, okay? So that's going to be a decision you're going to have to make. I would probably hold this, okay? I don't know exactly where you went in, but you must have gone near the top here. So you got to make a decision whether to sweat it out or get out, that type of thing. And honestly, you're going to have to sweat it out a little bit longer, but the long-term prognosis is more highs. So if you can afford to just not think about this one, and it should eventually bottom and then move higher. It should not go below the current bottom down here. That I'm pretty confident it won't do. So it's just a matter of holding it at this point, okay? So that hopefully that helps you. Not sure it does. All right, let's see. Let's keep going on here. All right, let's see. Stuart, how are you? All right, no worries. Okay, PayPal. Let's put that bad boy in there. Okay, so as you know, we like PayPal. All right, we looked at this one before, and this is one that we've recommended. However, it's still climbing up, and you can certainly see, all right, it's climbed way off its bottom. And our target on this is 145 to 204 with an eventual pullback at some point here to around 73 to 67. So if you're kind of waiting to get in, that may not be a bad strategy, is to wait it out and then wait for this Fibonacci retracement, which you probably will get. It's just, exactly when is a little bit tough. We have bearish divergence over here, green PTF over here. All right, so we're kind of in a top area here, but it looks like we're going back up. So that's kind of where you're at there. I would, long term, if you want to make it to the 145 to 204 target way over here, then you're going to have to keep it for a while, like, maybe a year or two. Okay. Obviously, if maybe even longer, if you're in it for the short term, you may want to take profits, before it goes into a correction. And if so, you can use this stop here and then get back in after the correction. And of course, that's called trading. All right. So you can decide what you want to do with it. But, long term, if you wanted to do nothing except hold it, that would be fine. But you will see some pullback on it. All right, NET, net. All right, so this is one that has jumped off its bottom. Not a lot of history here, but it had a bottom in 2023, bounced off, pulled back, green PTF, indicating we should get above eventually the all-time high of 220. It's just going to take a while, right? We've got bullishness on the lower time frames here. So we're still moving up quite a bit here. We've got a strong move up on this, awfully strong move up above here. So I'm thinking here we got quite a bit of room left on this to the upside. So I would continue to hold this. All right. In terms of recommending this, I could recommend this as a long-term hold, but for somebody trading short term, all right, I think you got to wait a little bit more now for a pullback. And I'm not exactly sure where the short-term target's going to be on this one. This one's a little tougher because there's not a lot of history on the weekly chart for that. So I'm thinking probably a pretty good shot of getting above 110, and we're at 92.5. All right, so I think you'll be okay on that. RMD. All right, so RMD climbing off its wave 4 bottom. I'm going to open this weekly chart up because this is textbook Elliott wave. All right, when you see a wave that is so dramatic, and this one happened to, obviously last for many, many years, but that is a wave 3. It's the fastest moving wave, probably the most optimistic wave. And then we get a correction, profit taking, and things of that nature. Could be things in the economy, in the world, that causes a market to correct. But that's a nice ABC correction. So this would be a 3, 4, heading up into a 5. So your target is going to be up here. In terms of an exact target, let's see if we can work on that. Hold on one second. All right, wait a second, folks. The screen is black, and I don't know why. So let's see here. Give me 1 second. As I say, I'm always the last one to know, right? All right, let's give that another shot. Let's try share your screen. And let's see if that brings it back up. Hopefully it should. Okay, I think it's been black for a few minutes, so hopefully that will bring it back up. Okay, we're good. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I don't think I did anything. I think it just went black. All right, great. Okay, super. All right, so here I am on RMD. I'm going to back up. I'll go back to PayPal and a few of the others, I think probably about where I left off. But RMD is looking pretty good. All right, I'm going to give you a target here of where I think this thing could go. And this is a long-term target, probably around 310 to 421. And again, textbook Elliott wave, 3, 4, 5, with the target zone being here, and a nice A, B, C. See how nicely you can see that? You don't always get it quick that precise, but that's pretty good. All right, that's a 3, 4, and a 5. So probably getting up to that range there over the next, this is a long-term chart, next year or two. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now that doesn't mean it's just going to go straight up. Don't forget, markets breathe, they zigzag. All right, so they go up and they pull back. All right, but it's on its way. So that's a good sign for that. Let's see, we got a little bit of a pullback here coming. I don't think this is necessarily a major one because we have a green PTF now here, but I think probably maybe coming back a little lower. Let's use a fib off here. Yeah, probably around 2, back down below the low from this month and possibly going down to 213 before it probably resumes. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. So summary on RMD. Long term, it's great. Okay. Short term, a little bit of a pullback. It's already pulled back a little bit, but not too bad. And so I'm going to put this one down as a buy, especially if you're oriented to holding it a while. Okay, so I'm kind of liking it from that standpoint. All right, I'm going to go back to net here. I don't think you saw this one because the screen was black. And this one, pulled up quite a bit. We like this for a long-term trade as well. However, short-term, probably going to get some pullback after this massive move up that we've had yesterday and currently today. Probably get a pullback maybe to 85-ish before we resume. A lot of times here you'll get this, when you have a large price bar, you'll get a little bit of a fill in there. So that's, if you don't, then you'll have a fair market value gap here to here, all right? And that will act as support. And if that's the case, then any move up that goes and comes back will probably not go below that. So I'm kind of liking it. So I think I'll recommend it, but you need to put your stop under this pyramid. And then once it resumes, then we'll have that fair market value gap, and you can use that as a stop area. Okay, so keep that in mind. So net looks pretty good. All right, PayPal. I don't think you saw that one either. And PayPal, we think, is coming up to about 145 to 204. That's our long-term estimate. But we are kind of due for a pullback on PayPal before it goes up there. And that's what I drew here as this fib retracement area here for a pullback to around 73 to 67. We're seeing bearish divergence build here. We don't have a red. This is not red yet, and it has to be red during the correction for it to be a valid 4. We are seeing bearish divergence in here. So if you're new here, I'm kind of going to put this one a little bit on hold for a buy. If you're in it, hold it. Okay, it is going to come up. I just think maybe we can take a look at this in a month or so and possibly get a much better entry than we can get right now. Sometimes, in trading, waiting and being patient is the best trade. All right. Okay, good. Eleanor, I got that message. I think we looked at that, so we're okay. All right, let's see what else we got cooking here. Okay, UNG. All right, UNG is actually the ETF for natural gas, Frank, and that's for you. Okay, and basically, we like that one. I like it. It's pulling back a little bit, so it's giving you an opportunity to get into a possible long trade. If you wanted to wait until this bottoms, you certainly could. And you can simply just draw a trend line, all right, or a channel. So if you take this and you kind of go like this and this, you wait for it to break out of that. That's called a bull flag. And then join the party to the upside. My long-term target on this is 45 to 66. So you could, do quite well on this. I think short-term, we're probably due to get into that 18 to 21 range pretty quickly. So I'm kind of liking this green PTF, a little bit of softening here, but this softening is going to give us an opportunity to get in. So I'd like to see it break that specific bull flag I put on there before recommending it, because it could slide down a little further. So let's put this one for sure on a watch list unless you're long. If you're long, then hold it, okay? And you should be okay. And you're in at 1482, and I would hold it, Frank, okay? So we'll take a look at it next week. And it may pull back for a little while, but I wouldn't panic out of it quite yet, okay? Not with a green PTF here. Green PTF says it should get above 22. All right, let's keep going here. This is a Gene's comment. Happy wife is a happy life. Okay. Gene, are you trying to tell me something? All right, let's see what we got. Good morning to you, William. All right, EVGO. Let's see what we got there. Hopefully the screen is not black. Hopefully it's still showing okay. All right, I think it is. All right, EVGO. Let's see what we got cooking on this one. I'm not sure if you're currently long or thinking about a long. All right, so we've got a nice pull up off the bottom. We've got history about 3 years. We got a huge momentum move here on this. All right, so we went right through this bullish fair value gap, but it was already invalidated from a while back, I think. So, all right, so let's see what we got cooking on this. We got yellow PTF short term and a green one long term. So more highs are coming. But it's very possible we could get a little bit of a pullback here, but it's such a cheap stock at this point here. If you can get an option, you could do an option on it. The target on this long term, but you might have to hold this years, it should be above its all-time high. Okay, but short term, I'm kind of trying to take a look here short term of where this thing could go. And I'm just going to draw some fibs here. And we're getting kind of close to the target already. So, all right, not sure if you're long. If you're long, you're sweet right now, okay? I would hold it. I put a stop under this second pyramid here at 6.56 and try to let it run and get up into this target and then trail those stops even closer. But for right now, I would hold it, okay? If I'm new, I think I'd wait for a little bit of a pullback and let's see how far down it goes. I'm hoping that this level here holds because it certainly should. That's 3.81. But you could come down into the $5 to $6 range. So on a small stock like that, that's a pretty good percentage. In other words, it's worth waiting, I guess. All right, that's EVGO. All right. Let's keep going here. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Eleanor. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, good. So you're long on these PLTR. All right, so we're taking out the high that was created back in 2021. I think we took that out. Let's make sure. I've got my data screen on another window. So when I put my mouse over a bar, I'm looking at the prices, but you can't see them. All right, 44.38 is the high on the price bar today, and it was 45 before. All right, so really close, but not quite. Did not quite break the high, but certainly is soaring on up. So I think it's going to. Again, nice trade early on, especially if you use the weekly charts. But for right now, okay, it's too late for everybody to get in, but Eleanor's already in. So what do? Well, I guess I would hold it. On this one here, Eleanor, I would just simply draw a trend line for right now, okay? And use that. If that gets broken, then we're probably going to go into a correction. And when it gets broken, here's what you do. Just grab your fibs, wherever the high is. If it comes back and went through here, use that as your high. If it keeps going higher and then comes back, use that as your high for your fibs. But if it corrected right now, it'd be 35 to 30, okay? And then it should go higher, okay? This is really strong. There's no reason to get out of this, all right? Stay with it. And, you can always use the 60-minute chart. Sometimes when things get overextended, then use the trend lines. But also, too, there's pyramids on the short-term chart that you could use if you wanted to take like a 30-year position off if we went below that to protect you from a correction, and then maybe get back in with that third after you can, when you can, in the fib retracement zone. But in any case, that's all about timing and trading. But for right now, stay long, okay? Looks pretty good. All right, let's take a look at your next one here. I'm not going to recommend this one because we're due for a pullback. That's the thing. But for her, it's good for her to stay. All right, CELH. All right, like I said, remember I said many months ago, going into the summer, that the market was still moving up. And that's certainly the case to this day. Now, again, I think a bear market is around the corner in 2025. Maybe it could come sooner. Depends if some event comes along that causes it, because we are in an Elliott Wave 5 target on a bull trend that's been with us since 2009. So this is a big top we're in, but it doesn't look to me like it's over. All right. So again, there's many more highs on a lot of stocks we look at, and the trend lines have not been broken on the major indexes. So they're still moving up. So I think taking long trades or staying in long trades is still okay now. All right, and CELH. Now, this is kind of an interesting one, because this one I really kind of like, because you're long. I don't know where you got in. Maybe you just got in. But this is kind of what I look for. I look for a big move down and then a move off a bottom like that. Bullish divergence, a long owl, unusually long, and green coming into the short time frames with a pyramid. So you have a fractal entry, but you do have a gap. Gaps do sometimes get filled. But the interesting things with gaps, usually if they form in three areas: beginning, middle, and end. And in the beginning, they don't always fill. Okay, so that's kind of something to take note of. We had a big move off the bottom. Usually, okay, even though I just said gaps usually don't fill, you usually get a pretty significant pullback after that first bounce off the bottom. And then if that bottom holds, then you're golden. That means you're basically have a significant bottom. So that's the thing. Now, when we looked at this before, this came down a lot further, all right, before it turned around. So that's a big deal, which means that this is no longer a 4, but maybe a 1, 2, and we're going into a 3 type of thing. So this is could be a more significant situation. So I would say it depends on how gutsy you are, but this would mark an early entry. So I'm going to put this one down as a bottom fisher trade. So if you like to look for bottoms and bounces off bottoms, this is the one you should take. And then your stop should go at the very bottom, in case that's not the final bottom, because we really don't know yet, because it could bounce up, pull back, make one more low, and then go, right? So again, preferably what you like to do is let it bounce up, let it pull back, Let's see if the bottom holds. And then when it goes again, takes out the previous high, then you have an uptrend in place. And then that's the best place to buy in terms of probability. But also too, if you want to get in early and put your stop at the bottom, then that is an early entry and certainly a possibility. A lot of traders do it. A lot of traders, they get stopped out, they try it again. All right, so it depends. So I'll put it down as a possibility. I do think it looks pretty good. And I think in terms of where this thing could retrace to, I think you're probably looking at least the $60 mark. Let's draw a couple fibs in and see where the lower limit is though. Yeah, so 60 puts it pretty close, all right? So, you know, it would be something like this, A, B, C, and eventually get up there. And then we reassess it. Is it going to come back down again, or is it just going to keep going? And that we don't know until it gets to that fib area and we see the response. So I like it, okay? I like it for an early entry for a buy. CELH, I would hold it. GCT, and you're also long in this one. All right, so this one bounced up to this target here, started pulling back. We've got green PTFs all around. So I'm kind of liking this one too. All right, I think more highs are coming on this. I'm trying to get a good feel. So it looks like we're going to take out that high. Let's do a target on this fib here. Pretty big fib, actually. So I'm going to go with a probably a PTF short-term target above 30, okay? We're at 24, long-term targets above 45, but it could take a long time to reach up there or not, okay? But in this case here, it's looking pretty good. So I'll put this down as a buy, and that's GCT. And let's put the target above the top here and put it around 45, I think, okay? So that's almost to double your money, okay? So I kind of like that one. All right, so hold that one. All right, let's move along here. I'm running kind of a little behind schedule because we had that black screen there. All right, Al, how are you, Al? All right, NT, NX. Al has been one of our friends for a long time, right, Al? Okay, so let's see what we got here. All right, so you're long. Okay, good. And we should see another high on this, even though the PTFs have turned yellow recently. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we should see some more highs. I'm thinking now, this is a little tough one because PTFs usually don't change, but that's my target, 73, almost 74 to 92. But I got to tell you, I would probably put my stop. This in terms of Elliott wave 3, 4, 5, we had the ABC. So this should be a bottom. So I probably, if our first leg up is here, I'd put my stop under here. Okay, it shouldn't go below there. So I'm kind of liking that. All right, so I'd stay with that. But when you get to that target, keep those stops real close, okay? All right, let's take a look at another one here for you. USAU. USAU. All right, with a question mark. All right, so good bottom fishing on the weekly chart. Let me just get it over to here. So we had a move off the bottom. We have a green PTF that's been in place for a long time. All right, so that area here created enough pressure to say eventually the market will return. PTF doesn't tell you when though. All right, this is green, this is green. Everything is green. We've had a pullback and a little bit of a messy market though on the daily chart. And you can see a lot of volatility, spikes up, but I think the pressure now is up. All right, so I think the move is to the upside. So drawing maybe a couple trend lines. I would say the next thing we got to do, our target is the high of here, which is what, around $7, I guess. Let's see where we are there. Let's see. Yeah, about $7, a little over $7. Okay. So that's your high right above here. So that's what you're shooting for. And you want to put your stop here. only about a 1-to-1 risk to reward, but you got 3 pyramids behind, 3 PTFs behind you. So I'd say a pretty good probability here. You want to put your stop here. That could certainly be a possibility. So let's put USAU as a short-term buy, and I put my stop under here. I would put it right at this low here. So you have good risk to reward. So that would be 544. So 543. Okay. That's USAU. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Okay. I think we actually have got through them all. Wow. Super picks today. All right. Let me just recap here. All right. So we got NET, right? That was one we liked, but it's a long-term trade. So you're going to have to hold that one a long time. That might not be for everybody. All right. We've got RMD, same thing. Okay. Long-term hold. Then we have CELH. That's a good one. GCT, we picked that as a good one. And then finally, USAU is also a good one. And then on the watch list, we have SNOW and UNG. And UNG is one we recommended as a buy before. So it's just moved up a lot. So we may recommend that one again if we get a pullback on it for a good entry. All right, so there it is. And as Gene says, have a great weekend, everybody. And again, thank you for joining us. And, we're getting a few more people every week here, which is great. Okay. We're kind of like a turtle. We go kind of slow, but we keep going. All right. We never give up. We keep it going. Right. And same thing with our YouTube channel. We keep it going. We wish we had 1 million views. We don't. But we have quality views. So that's important to me. Okay. And everybody here, we kind of know. So it's kind of nice. But, with time, we'll see how that goes. I enjoy doing it. So it really doesn't matter to me. Main thing is I enjoy being with you all. And if this helps you, that's a big thing for me. Okay. I like to give back. Okay. I think that's important. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend as we get into October here. Things should start to cool off temperature-wise. And hopefully no more hurricanes. If you did get hit by the hurricane, our prayers go out to you, of course. Okay. All right. Have a good week, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much, everybody. Before I close the room, let me just put it on the NASDAQ intraday market, and I'll keep it there for a minute. You can see how price bars move intraday. So if you're a day trader, we have a day trading room. So that may be something you're interested in. But in any case, you can check it out. It's kind of fun to watch the prices go back and forth. So we got a green PTF here. We had a nice move down. We have a fair value gap that was not hit down here. So even though we may be moving up, it's very possible to come down to that fair value gap and then move back up. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so we'll see. We also got a red PTF on the short-term 15-second chart. This is a 1 minute, 15 second. This is 5 minute, and we're hitting a bearish fair value gap here on the 5 minute. So I imagine we probably are going to head down here. So I don't think I'd go long here yet. I think my long position, I think I would wait here because that's quite a distance, and that's a big move. So I think I'd probably wait there and then go long here. Okay. Now, if you wanted to take a short position and give that a shot, you could put your stop above the fair value gap on the 5 minute though. Okay. Give that a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much. Okay. All right. So that's it. All right. So we'll see you guys next week.